Hey guys, what's going on? It's your big dreamer and doer, G Dinero, coming to you live with another Breaking Down the Trade. This time it's Invest Answer's latest Tesla synthetic long, a January 21st, 2028 $400 synthetic long. But first, remember, none of this is tax, legal, financial, investment advice. It's your buddy G Dinero helping you increase your financial literacy to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. And before we dig in, a huge thank you goes out to Mr. 2J. You can see he's a new member of my new community, and he said, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate this kind of rare openness and insight, how an experienced trader thinks and trades. This is the kind of stuff you really can't get to, and it gets things in my head, racing in my head, connecting the dots. Very helpful. Thanks, G. So you're very welcome, Mr. 2J. It's why I designed the community in the first place, to get in there and teach so that you can learn. Folks like you and others can really, truly learn how to be a seasoned investor and trader at the end of the day. So that's it. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. And with no further ado, let's dig right in. Now, this is the alert that came out. It came in from Invest Answers, and he said, I grabbed a little Tesla today at the magical 411 mark, the same level I entered before and was waiting to hit again. Buy signal shadowed again, and we have bounced off 411 thrice now. I bought the January 28 calls, sold the January 28 puts at $400 strike for a net debit of $45. My break even on the trade is $445, a mere 800 days from now. Now, just so you know, I'm not advocating taking this trade right now. This was the alert that came out, and I'm breaking it down so people understand it, right? So they can make heads or tails of the why behind it. The why was because Invest Answers was looking at the 5-minute chart. The 5-minute chart, that's what's on the screen right now, right? And on the 5-minute chart, if you were to look at the 4-hour chart, you would see that we've wicked down to 411 a few times, right? We wicked down to 411 a few times. But if you were to look on a 4-hour chart, you would see that we are still in the mean reverted to the upside, or maybe at neutral whenever we get down to 411, 420. We might get slightly mean reverted to the downside, but nowhere near a severe buying signal, which is like 2 standard deviations to the downside, right? We haven't seen those on Tesla for months now, right? For months now. If you're looking at a 4-hour chart, on a 5-minute chart, you'll see those types of buying signals over and over again all day long. In fact, you can see case in point here, not where the arrow is, the green arrow, but if you look to the left of that, you can see there was a buy signal just the day before on the 5-minute chart. A buy signal the day before, and that appeared around the $430 level, right? So this is important, is to use the time frame that you believe in the most. Invest Answers likes the 5-minute chart from when he looks to strike to do his synthetic longs. Me, I'm looking at a daily chart whenever I'm doing my synthetic longs. Synthetic longs for me are the long-term, done only at the very, very bottom. Not at a pico bottom, like a midterm bottom, but at the very, very bottom. Again, that's just my style. It's not that mine's right and his is wrong, or his is right and mine is wrong. It's we've found our rhythm that we're comfortable with based on the amount of margin that we have available to us, based on the amount of capital that we have available to us, and everything else, right? You've got to find what works for you. But this is a 5-minute Tesla chart. I wanted to really point that out and say that if you took every single signal, you might win 71% of the time, like the graph shows. But we're talking about a long-term trade for 800 more days. I personally use the 4-hour or the daily. I don't strike on any other type of chart. Okay, I wanted to make that part crystal clear. The trade's simple. This is the part that I wanted to break down so you understand what he did. Invest Answer sold the January 21st, 2028 $400 put for $109. He collected $10,900 per contract. He got paid $10,900. He needed $40,000 to collateralize the puts in case the other party decided they want to put or assign or sell their shares to him for $400 a share, and it's 100 shares per contract. So that's 40 grand that he would need. That's the assignment risk. He then took the $10,900 that came in, plus added some more money to it, and bought the January 21st, 2028 $400 calls for $154. He spent $15,400 per contract. So he sold the put and collected $10,900, bought the call, spent $15,400 for a net of $45 debit. It's a $45 net debit, or $4,500 per synthetic long. So that's all it cost to put the trade on, was $4,500, but he had to have $40,000 worth of collateral, cash or margin, to secure the put in case he got assigned the shares. The break even on this trade, that's simple. It's $445 by January 21st, 2028. How do you get that? The $400 strike of the call plus the $45 spend on the entire trade. 400 plus 45 is 445. So his break even is $445 or higher by January 21st, 2028. Do I believe we'll be higher than that? Much higher, right? So why didn't I take the trade? Because I still think that Tesla has room to go down. That's a whole different story for a whole nother day. Shouldn't even brought it up here in the breaking down the trade. You want to learn more about that? Join the community. So the biggest risk is Tesla goes to zero and you're assigned shares at $400 a share times 100 shares equals $40,000. That means you spent $40,000 on shares that are worthless. Is it going to go to zero? No, I highly doubt it, right? But you got to throw it out there. That is the biggest risk. This would result in a loss of $40,000 plus the $4,500 that you spent to put on the trade, or $44,500. What does the trade look like on Optionstrat? Now, if you haven't already, go ahead, use my link here, get Optionstrat. It's worth it to have the paid version, so it's in real time. You have the chance of profit and the probabilities and all the Greeks. All of that stuff is included in the paid version, not the really expensive paid version, just the one that's like a click above free, right? So go to optionstrat.com/gdinero, sign up for it. Shameless plug. But this is what it looked like. I built it in there, and you can see where the net debit was $4,500, and you can see where the break even is $445, and you can see that I built this trade this evening, right? Invest Answers put the trade on earlier today. By the time I built the trade this evening, it's already down about $1,242. Now, again, I'm not saying that because I sweat the small stuff. I don't, right? This trade has 2.2 years left on it. It has 800 plus days left on it. So I'm not worried about being down $1,000 at this point in the game. But I say it because there might have been a better entry point a little bit lower. If it, say, pulled back to 340 or 350 and filled all the gaps that are there. It filled one of the gaps today, but there are more gaps from where it gapped up really quickly the day that Elon bought $1 billion worth of stock, okay? But I digress. So we put this trade on for $4,500, and I said, what if it went up 150%? I've heard people throwing around $800, $900, $1,000 by the end of 2027. I've heard higher numbers, but I'm just going with like what I believe to be more realistic numbers by the end of 2027. 2.2 years from now, Tesla goes up 150% from where it is now. So from 400 to $1,000 a share. Why 1,002? Because I couldn't get the little slider to show 1,000 on there. That's why. So it goes to $1,002 a share. The puts in that particular case would expire worthless. Nobody wants to assign you their shares down at $400 when they can sell them on the open market for $1,002. That's why the puts are worthless. The calls are worth the intrinsic value. What's the intrinsic value? 1,002 minus the $400 strike equals $602 a share per contract. There's 100 shares in a contract. 602 times 100 is $60,200. $60,200. That would result in a $55,700 profit. That's the $60,200 minus the $4,500 that you spent up front. Remember, your put collateral gets released and you walk away $55,700 wealthier than you started the whole process. The return is calculated by taking the $60,200 if you sold that leap or the call portion of this and divide that by what you spent on it, $4,500. So $60,200 divided by $4,500 is a 13.38, call it a 13.4x return. Massive. Could you also convert those to shares? Sure. Come up with $40,000 and convert the call option into shares. Choice is yours, right? What you do with it at the end. These are powerful, but they require a lot of margin, a whole lot of margin. Now, people have asked me in the past, I'm going to go into it today. What if it went up 100% from here? What if Tesla doubled? So it went to 802. If it went to 802, each of those contracts would be worth a little over $40,000, $40,000, and you like 9x'd your money, right? What if it only went to $500? If it only went to $500, each of these contracts is worth $102. Well, if it went to 500, each of these contracts is worth $100. 100 times 100 is 10,000. So that means each of them are worth 10,000. You turn 4,500 into 10,000. You a little bit more than doubled your money. What if Tesla goes all the way up to 700 and then comes all the way back down to 400 and you do nothing? If you do nothing, these things, everything expires worthless. The puts, I'm assuming it's at like $400.01. The puts expire worthless. The calls are worth $1 a piece, virtually worthless. And you took $4,500, lit it on fire, tied up $40,000 worth of collateral for 2.2 years for nothing. Why do I say it like that? Because so many people think that options are the answer for them. It's not the only way to make money. You can actually buy shares and sell shares. And that is, in my opinion, the easiest and best place for a beginner to start. Not with options right out of the gates. Learn how to buy shares and sell shares. The first part's easy. The second part, not so easy. Just go ask a novice investor. They don't even know that there's a red sell button right next to the green buy button. Okay, I'm going down a tangent here, but you guys get the point. I went through all what you could potentially get out of this trade. If you guys want to see more like this, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be knocking these things out fast and furious in the future, okay? Comment below. What'd you like best? What'd you learn? What would you like to see more of? More importantly, book a course with me and join the community. It's the community that I am pushing hard. I'm not booking individual one-on-one appointments anymore. I can't take on any new clients. I don't have the capacity anymore. But you already saw the comment from somebody who just joined the community, and in the first day or two, his eyes were like wide open and blown away at what was available to him. What do I mean when I talk about the community launch? It's simple. You're all founders. If you're watching my YouTube channel on a regular basis, I consider you to be a founder, but you got until the end of November. If you're not in by the end of November, then you're not going to get all the benefits that you see down the right-hand side. You can see who are the ones that helped me build this thing in the first place. One-on-one coaching clients, TradingView and technical analysis, class and course students, understanding options, class and course students, tips and tricks subscribers, YouTube audience, all the people that I've interacted with along the way to get to this point, y'all are the founders. You get 50% off the community per month, locked in for life. What's the community cost? Go to the website, go to G Dinero Coaching and go look. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's half the cost of a 1-hour training session from what I used to do for the one-on-ones. There you go. You get members only videos, YouTube videos, guys. These are only a handful of the videos I'm making right now. You're seeing like 1 or 2 videos a week. I'm making 4 or 5 a week. You're just not seeing them all because the rest are getting posted in the community. You get all the announcements and schedule, like what my schedule is. You get community chat access in all the different topics. There's about 14 different topics that you have access to. Trade alerts, trade ideas. I've already thrown out 2 or 3 trade alerts this week only to my community, only to the G Dinero community. They don't go out to the public. I just can't do it. Live AMAs and live trainings, right? I already had the first Ask Me Anything. The second one is already on the books for 1 week from tomorrow. So not tomorrow, Friday the 14th, but instead Friday the 21st. I'd be in the community by then so that you can get on a live, ask me anything, and ask me anything. The last one ran 2 hours, guys. I'm not always in a big hurry, right? I want to make sure that I get the questions answered. You get all my market summaries. I've been slacking on those a little bit, but those are going to start coming a little bit more consistently. Spreadsheet templates, I've got a ton of them. And even better than that, a lot of it's getting pushed into the new app that I'm doing and that my best friend John is creating for me. That app is being beta tested as we speak. There's about a half a dozen to a dozen people using it. I use it every day. I use it consistently. It helps me track my trades. I can't live without it. I'll be showing it off very soon. I just don't want to show it off if you don't have access to it yet. 25% off all my courses. I've had people turn around and join the community and immediately buy the Understanding Options course, and you'll see what I mean. That means they basically got into the community for free. So I don't care if people mix and match all these different discounts. That's the point. The point is to get you learning. And you know why? You guys know why. I'm G Dinero. I'm here to help you increase your financial literacy, to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys.